Hey YouTube, bass video. Yay, we all love a bass video. This I've got it needed fixed. All that was wrong was the battery clip was burst, which I kind of is just as well. So this is an Ibanez SDGR soundgear by Ibanez. The owner said, I think it's an Ibanez, it's like, I think he was thinking that the SGDR thing is kind of like sort of what Epiphone is to Gibson. No, I don't think so. I think soundgear is just this range of basses. It's a full-blown Ibanez, made in Indonesia, 2015. The serial number starts 15. This is an SR370. I did a review of a soundgear bass, but it was the sort of I don't know if it was the cheapest or the second cheapest in the range. This is significantly higher up the range. It's kind of the same sort of outline, same sort of shape, but this one's really smoothed out. It's like an oversucked sweetie. It's very much contoured. It's also got a cool 5-piece neck. I'd imagine there's probably like a neck through one if you go up higher up in the range, or maybe even a set neck one in the way. So it's like maple with rosewood or walnut stringers in it, which is good. 24 frets, 2 pickups, super active system. One of the reasons I think the guy that owns this didn't like it was he said the battery keeps running out. But when I says, oh, you are remembering to unplug it when you're not playing it? And he was like, yeah, so the active basses generally the same with active guitars. The jack input socket is stereo. I don't mean it gives 2 signals. So the stereo plug means that basically when you plug the lead in, it connects the battery. So when you take the lead out, the battery is no longer connected and will not run down. So this has proper active pickups in it, unlike some of the other basses I've got, which are they've got an active circuit. This has active pickups, which I'll show you what the active system in this does. I'm going to compare it to the active system in my Aria here, which has an active switch in it. Not really the same thing. This has passive pickups with an active boost in it. These are active pickups. The main difference, which I suppose is the only downside I can really see, is if the battery fails in this, the bass doesn't work. There's no sound comes out. Whereas when you get something like that Aria, if the battery fails, you can just turn off the active system and just use it as a passive bass. So there is a downside to having active, and that's I think it's probably it'll be the same with if you've got like EMG pickups in your guitar. You just basically always have buy 2 packs of batteries and always have one sitting in your gig bag, so that when it does decide to run out, because there's no bypass option on it. So I mean, I absolutely loved the cheaper one. I think it was a 170 or something like that. It didn't look in like as fancy as that. It's just like the cheaper ones are generally just all one colour. I think it was all black. It's not quite as smoothed, but it's a similar sort of shape. Not my favourite type of shape. I think I've got this thing about basses all being ugly pretty much. There's lots that, when I say look like this, they're kind of modern. I mean, I don't know, from the 80s onwards sort of thing. When I like a P bass, I think the P bass, Leo Fender just got it right first time, and it's got 1 pickup, a volume control and a tone control, and that's pretty much all I use. I mean, even when it gets onto like things like that, it's like, oh, it's got 2 pickups, that's exciting, This thing is in a different league. So you've got a volume, a pickup selector, which is a rotary blend pot. So if you've got it fully clockwise, it's the neck pickup, and fully anti-clockwise, it's the bridge pickup, and then there's a wee notch in the middle, so you've got equally on both. But you've obviously got infinite variability between the two. And then these are all centre indent pots, bass, middle, and treble. So I mean, it's like its own. It's like a synthesizer it's got on it. So I'm going to try and play a bit of it, but there's anything else I can really say about it. It's just that Ibanez are brilliant. Modern Ibanez, you can't really go wrong. Just the looks are a little bit not my thing, but I mean that's because I'm old and I like sort of vintagey shaped things. I don't even like that many. Basses are kind of funny looking. I always think. Yeah, what was it? I had to adjust the truss rod. This is the one that's got like a wee window there, So rather than getting the screwdriver out to take out the 3 screws to take off the truss rod cover, there's a wee bit you can flick open, like a wee door that hinges up to get at the truss rod, which I suppose saves you 30 seconds every time you want to adjust the truss rod. I'm not sure it's a necessary thing. It's better than not having it, I suppose. It's the same. I think it's a similar sort of thing with locking tuners on a guitar. It's like, yeah, okay, it's better, but it's not that much better. I wouldn't bother buying another one just to get, I wouldn't bother replacing it. Good solid bass bridge, kind of top loading, which is quite nice. Not actually that dissimilar to what was on that A's area and that A's area. Right, so we'll go for neck pickup. I'm going to try and keep the volume down. I've kind of pointed the mic that way so that this doesn't overload the mic. I'm playing through Marshall MD150. I think that's just a tone. That's just a tone. Oh, it's notched as well in the centre. That's not a tone, that's why. That's the pickup selector, sorry. Then bridge pickup. In the middle, both pickups. Very sleek and comfortable. Well, you can get high fret access much more than you can in pretty much any of my basses. And the 2 octaves, obviously. Yeah. As I said, so we've got a 3-band EQ. So if I go back onto the neck pickup, because that's what I'm used to, I'm just assuming the neck pickup's kind of like, in fact, I'll go in the middle, because that's probably kind of P-bassy sounding, which is what I'm used to. Then you can turn down the bass. So that's like, these are all sitting in their centre notch. Turn down the mid. Back up. Or turn down the treble. That's me basically cutting, which is kind of the way a normal tone control. I could probably do that using capacitors, like passive, where it just cuts. The difference here is the boost. It's got a thunderous amount of boost, which I'm worried it's going to just make the speaker. I don't want to use. I don't know if FART counts as a swear word. So it might make it fuzz, buzz, blow, distort. Bass boost, which is about, I don't know how many decibels it is, a lot, but what a difference. Then you can, or boost the middle. Or, yeah, put these back to the centre again, boost the treble. So I mean, the scope for adjusting stuff, obviously you can adjust all these. I'm adjusting each one of the 3 things and then putting it back to into the centre before I move on to the next one. But it's ridiculous the scope this bass has. So if I go for the bassest it can get, yeah. So if I put the bass up at full, put it to the neck pickup, turn the treble all the way off and the middle all the way off. I've got to turn the volume down because it's really boosting it. I don't know if that's even going to be picked up on the mic, but it sounds like, you know, like a steam train playing next door. And it's actually the walls vibrating. Very, 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 very powerfully bassy. Bit more bass, middle in it. It's actually, see, just doing this, I'm actually sitting there thinking about, I might add this, a very simple, whatever this EQ system is, into one of my basses, like a modern one. It really is, the amount of scope you've got for scooping and stuff is ridiculous. Right, I'll try the treble as it goes. So if I go to the bridge pickup, turn the bass all the way off, turn the middle all the way off, turn the treble up to full, the volume up. And the mids. Turn them all up at full. And the bridge pickup. Neck pickup. That looks like the My Hermes guy. There's his van outside. I don't see it. Oh, I was going to say, a deer, just before this video came out, I looked out the window, a deer ran down the middle of the street. How awesome is that? Like living in the wee bit country bumpkin land. It's like, yeah, so I was like, obviously I didn't have enough time to get my camera out and take a photo of it, but it was totally awesome just seeing a deer. It's like it's snowing outside, so everyone's dead quiet, and I suppose maybe the deer's looking for food or doesn't realise there's roads here, whatever. Can't see the fences and the boundaries for human places. Yeah. So I keep looking out the window because I've sold a couple of guitars and I'm waiting for my Hermes guy to come pick them up. I'm totally blown away by this bass actually, even though look wise I don't like it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what I was going about how technology hasn't really changed in guitars, and basically if you buy, like, most of the guitars you buy now were all pretty much designed in the 50s and really haven't changed very much. You know, like your Strats and SGs and Telecasters are much of they're 99% exactly the same as they used to be. Basses did change a bit, so this would be what you could class as a modern bass in 1985. This has a switch to put it into active, and this tone control, when it's in the middle, does nothing. Then you pull it down, it boosts the treble. When you push it up, it boosts the bass. This runs on two 9-volt batteries, so it's an 18-volt circuit, and I'm just going to show you the difference. I mean, even just output. Yeah, so put it on. That's it fully bassy. That's it fully trebly. Sorry, both pickups. The bridge is actually very similar. It's not quite the same, but it's a similar sort of idea, probably a similar sort of price range at the time, bass as well. And in 1985 Ibanez were making basses, probably looked more like this. I would still class this as quite a modern one, but it's basically just a P bass, isn't it, really? It's a little bit scoop there, a little bit less there. But basically that's the 18 volt, and it's on a massive circuit board. system. And basically technology has moved in a ridiculous way. So this one is only 9 volt. And saying that one, the advantage, probably, apart from the look and the fact that looks a bit like Cliff Burton from Metallica's one, it doesn't have active pickup, so you can just switch if the battery fails or something goes wrong with it, you just turn it off and it's just a normal bass. Whereas this, the battery fails, there's no sound and you're in trouble. It's much smoother and more modern sounding, and that's your putting a bit of drums in place. So I don't think I'll bother a rhythm track for this. I'll just the noise. can't do slap at all. I'd imagine. There's a lot of options in this. I think I'm kind of sold on it, to be honest. The EQ thing, one of the things I always liked about the bass is there's no messing about, especially with a P bass, because all you've really got is a tone control and a volume, I suppose, and how you play it. This has just got avenues hitherto unexplored by me. It feels fantastic. One of my favourite things about it, which I know is silly, but I always talk about this when playing the Raider guitar, because it's got the sparkle paint job. The bit you see on a guitar is the top of the headstock, which that bit of the headstock, which I always thought, which is amazing, which you don't see from the front end like that. This is the same thing, but in this one it's the neck. See, because it's got this extra stripe. That's what you see when you're playing it. And obviously, this is my view. When you're playing it, you see that, and it's just really nice aesthetically. It makes it feel much more luxurious, just having that extra stripe in the back of it, which I know it's silly, but I really like that. Sometimes it's silly things. The pickups in this are CAP. No idea what that means. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna look up to see if I get one of these. I've actually got a bass that's in bits. Actually, I got it from the same guy that I got my thingy. This isn't the whole bass. This is just the neck. A Yamaha 400 and something RBX 374. I'm pretty sure it's got active circuits in it. I've got it in bits. It's got cracks in the body which I've filled. I just haven't bothered painting it again yet. I think it's got an active circuit in it. I wonder if it sounds like this. In fact, it does have an active circuit of some sort in it. So I wonder if maybe that, rather than actually buying one of these, I'm going to look them up and see how much they cost. I'm not expecting it to be that expensive, considering what it is. The only issue I've got is it's the look. It's not my style to look at. But functionally, it's amazing. It doesn't look as cool as a P bass or an EBO or something like that, or an Explorer bass. But I mean, it's absolutely lovely. And I just sit and mess about with the tone controls all the time. So I wonder if it's possible. I wonder if they do one that's basically this exact. Well, it can't be this exact bass, can it? Because one of the things that makes this what it is the super contour, which makes it really comfy. But and the really long neck, and it obviously balances perfectly. It's designed to be as comfy to play as possible. I wonder if they've got one that looks like one of these. You know what I mean? It looks like a P bass, but basically has all these things in it. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, so total top marks. I'll be honest. I wouldn't play this, and I'm in this Black Sabbath tribute band. I wouldn't play this just because it doesn't look authentic enough for a 1973 type band. It looks far too modern for that. But I mean, you don't look at the band necessarily, do you? Maybe just yeah. But maybe just put it down to I've got no taste. I have to admit I do buy guitars quite a lot for look. I think quite a lot of people, whether they admit it or not, buy guitars because they like the look of them. Telecasters, P basses, SGs. I don't know. The Raider, that it's like the looks are important. But this is just solid and awesome. So hopefully pal Liam will be able to use this again. He said he said it had been in his attic since it broke, and it's like all that was wrong was the battery clip, one of the wee terminals that come off the battery. I just replaced the clip, and it just went boom, came back to life. Also, the strings on it were absolutely hideous. They're now new. They're now, another thing about roto sounds. Roto sounds, I think, are pretty much well known as being the best bass strings. I think their Endorsi list is absolutely huge for the bass strings. They no longer have the coloured strings on the ends of them, which I was a little bit disappointed for. I remember buying roto sounds specifically to get the red string on the ends because it looks cool. They don't do it anymore. Now they don't have the strings, or the ones that I've seen recently don't. In fact, it's actually roto sounds I put on this, and it doesn't have the string bits on the end, because I always thought that was one of the ways you could tell whether someone had put expensive strings in their bass was it had string, you know, the coloured string wrapped around the end. I don't think I've got any basses that have got the coloured string on them just now, but I think that must be just be an old fashioned thing. One of the reasons for that might be where do you put the string, because like, if you've got like a 4-a-side headstock, then obviously the string's going to be the coloured thread on the end is going to be going to a different place than it is on even on the same scale of bass as this on this one, because this string only goes to here. So where do you start putting the coloured string on? You know, if this was a 4-a-side headstock, you're talking about it's going to be there, isn't it? So you get like, so I think maybe that's partly to do it, just for more use on more basses. So I've talked for 26 minutes on bass. So I'm going to put this away, partly because it's not mine, and partly so I don't end up just not giving it back to the guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure I could batter him. If he just come to the door, I could I just dingy the door for a while, and if he doesn't go away, just open the door and punch him in the face, and then he knows where I live. Yeah, so I will have to give it back, but I'm going to have a look and see how much these go for. I've got a funny feeling you could probably pick these up for quite cheap. Don't know. So this is an SR370. So 370 is not very high up in numbers. Going by other Ibanez, kind of if you're talking about like 100 or 200 model one, you get up to the like if you go look at the RG models, like an RG 350 is sort of your 200-300 pounder. So this is kind of probably where this is. And then when you got to RG 500, you're at sort of 500 odd quid, and then when they go right up to RG thousands, and they're £1,000 sort of thing. So they're probably I bet you there's one of these that's looks very much similar, but costs 4 times as much. I can't imagine what that's like. Just better not think about it. Rock on, catch you later.